Alternate Fate Chronicles. Saber, 01. The windows rattled, and the papers on her desk scattered into the air. With a flourish, they slowly brought themselves to the ground. The bright, humming light on her floor sang a low tune, then blinded her momentarily. Seated on the floor, her hands at her side, Zane couldn't help but think, isn't this one of those record scratches? Freeze frame moment memes? This is me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. Her class preparation papers slowly settled down around her, and the blinding light had vanished. Her violet eyes blinked rapidly until she could see clearly. The man standing in front of her stepped forward, then knelt down onto a knee, and finally gracefully extended a hand out to her, his black hair sliding from his back against his arm.
Master, are you well?
Yet, Zane was fairly certain she was hallucinating. Yes, she must have fallen and hit her head against the corner of her desk and was now in dreamland, or walking and hallucinating. If she doesn't speak to it, it will go away, and her head will fix itself. Her notes. Her notes. They were a mess. Zane looked around the room quickly and raised a hand to fix her tilted glasses as she quickly got onto all fours, picking up the pieces of paper and stacking them out of order, merely content to gather them all for now. Oh no, all 3 classes tomorrow are messed up. I have to rearrange the notes or I won't be prepared enough, she muttered to herself, willing the mysterious figure that had appeared in the bright flash to vanish from sheer willpower. Of course, things weren't going to go the way she wanted them to. Blah states here that things don't usually go her way. Emphasized with the repetition. Wasn't that her life? Zane stood in her lecture hall, her tidied notes in hands, as she taught today's poem that the students would need to know for both figurative language and preparation for exam's sake. They were all taking notes, their eyes moving between her and the screen that displayed the poem, and her markings on it that guided them in how to take their own notes. And the tall, mysterious, black-haired man continued to stay at her side. She could see him, right there, yet absolutely nobody else was reacting to him. She had gone mad. She had officially lost it. Even if she was going to collect homework at the end of class. You, Oroseka, don't you step out of that hall until you've handed in your homework. The white-haired university student in question dashed out the lecture hall with a yell. Tomorrow, sensei! Some things were inevitable, like the need for food, sleep, and confronting the tall, strange figure who had appeared in a flash of light in the middle of the night. Dropping her bag onto the bed surface, Zane dropped herself into a free spot on her bed. She loosened her hair tie, a black ribbon, and a hairband hidden beneath it, letting it fall onto the bed. It's Belle. Oh, right. We still have to plan times for that collaboration. She heaved a sigh and types in a quick reply to her. She'll have to check their schedule. For the first time after the man had initially appeared, Zane's eyes raised and met his. He held her gaze, and they continued to stew in the silence between them. Her hands snap up and cover her face. With a long, muffled speaking note, she shook her head and lowered her hands again. It still came out in the form of a squeak, so she tries again. I'm Zane. It's nice to meet you. I finally accepted the fact that you're reality. I apologize sincerely and deeply for having ignored you up until now. She finally blurted out, getting to her feet and dipping her head slightly to say hello. and held out an arm, a hand, to be taken. The stone-faced man watched the display without a flinch, until the words finally came out. All the confusion and curiosities he had were answered. He had a fairly good picture of what was going on, why he was ignored, why this young lady was acting this way. A small smile lights up his face, and he takes the hand of the unexpected and inexperienced master into his.
Nice to meet you, Zane. I am Saber.
Seba?
I advise thee to sit down for this. Have you heard of the Holy Grail War?
To be continued. But next time. Please, Squeaky. It's hard.
The Holy Grail War is stupid. Who believes in a wish-granting goblet anymore? It's fairy tale-like and entirely unrealistic. There's probably a terrible catch in there.
Flipping her hair back and over her shoulder, Jezebel crosses a leg over the other. And that's chapter 1.
Yay!
Yay! We had Ren help me with this picture. There's me. There's Blake.
Look at him.
Look at him. And then, of course, I had him do this one. Zane's room here without PNG. It's just really messy.
That's cute.
So that was chapter 1. I honestly just started it on an impulse. Oh,
The story?
Well, of course, I've been a Fate fan. But it's just like one big, like, oh, I guess I'll do this. It'd be like, I'll write my friends into it. It'll be fun.
Why not?
But now that we're voicing it, I realized I couldn't exactly bother Blake to help me voice his lines, even if it's little.
That's okay. I will gladly take his place. Although he's much more suave than I am.
Yeah, Belle, you're fine. Thank you for helping me with Blake's lines.
That's okay. There was like 3 lines, so...
I think White has a few more lines than Blake because...
Of course he does. He's an obnoxious brat.
He's talkative, is what Belle means.
He is obnoxious.
Mama, why though? He's a nice person. What? Let's see. I suppose since me and Blake and I were the star focus of this chapter. So, final thoughts. I'm very baga. That's my final thoughts. What about you, Belle?
Well, I mean, if I had some strange man appear out of a blinding light in my room, you had a better reaction. I probably would have just punched him.
Oh goodness, please don't punch him.
So, being surprised is probably a reasonable reaction.
So ne? Alright. And I think we'll wrap up then. Thank you everyone for listening. Here
See you next time.
Here's Belle. This is Belle. Belle. She's cute.
Oi.
We will also be recording chapter 2 together too. So I hope to see you for that chapter as well. Bye bye. Zane looked around the room quickly. Guess I was the first one to mom. With a long, muffled, squeaking note, she shook her hands. Nani? それじゃない。
She shook her hands.
She shook her hands じゃない。
The Holy Grail War is stupid. Who believes in a wish-granting goblet anymore? It's a fairy tale and entirely unrealistic. Okay, no, I need to... entirely unrealistic, oh god.
大丈夫。
The Holy Grail War is stupid. Who believes in a wish-granting...
Wendy? Wish granting goblet. Nobody believes in that.
A goblet.
A goblet.
The Holy Grail War is stupid. Who believes in a wish granting goblet anymore? It's a fairy tale. And it I hate everything. Whoa, it's not.